Rika Thorne stood in the center of the hexagonal chamber, her shadow thrown wide by the cold light overhead. The chamber hummed with artificial life, seamless alloy walls, seamless floor, seamless traps hidden just beneath the surface. 30 minutes on the clock. That was the rule. But no one ever said you had to follow the clock. Her eyes swept across the room. Surveillance orbs hovered in the corners, barely perceptible. Beyond the one-way glass, a mix of alien commanders and synthetic evaluators observed her, notes ready, data feeds open, expectant. She could almost hear their thoughts. Let's see how the Deathworlder performs. She flexed her fingers. Still scabbed from yesterday's gauntlet. The skin grew back fast, tougher every time. Back home, on Kestris 9, regeneration wasn't a choice, it was a requirement. Fall into a sulfur pool, or get caught in the razor winds, and you'd either adapt or die. Adaptation had always been her strong suit. A voice crackled through the ceiling. Smooth, mechanical. Cadet Thorne. You will now begin the standard escape assessment. You have 30 minutes. The timer begins now. Rika rolled her shoulders once, then twice. The door she had entered through hissed closed behind her, locking with a clunk that was more for effect than necessity. They thought they had built a perfect box. The first wall split open, revealing a corridor, angled, deliberately irregular, leading into a manufactured labyrinth designed to test problem-solving, stamina, and patience. She stepped toward it, paused, then looked left instead. Her fingers tapped the outer wall, then balled into a fist. The sound it made, thin, hollow. Decorative paneling over something more fragile. She smiled. Behind the glass, murmurs rose. One of the observers, a four-eyed Olgaran captain, tilted his head, curious. Why isn't she entering the maze? The AI noted. Deviation detected. Subject is not engaging test path. Rika crouched. Her boots scraped faintly against the alloy. She laid her palm flat on the wall and listened. Not with ears, those were too slow, but with instinct. Pressure gradients, micro-vibrations, temperature differentials. This part of the wall had been designed to look solid, not to be solid. She struck it once with the edge of her hand. A ripple of force echoed outward. Another blow, harder, and the panel buckled with a sharp metallic pop. One more, and it fell inward, revealing a narrow crawlspace lined with wiring and conduit.
She ducked in.
The alarms didn't go off immediately. Someone on the other side hesitated, probably unsure whether the breach was intentional or part of a hidden test protocol. That hesitation was her opening. She moved quickly, her limbs fitting into the cramped space with practiced precision. Childhood in volcanic tunnels taught her how to crawl without wasting breath. The crawl space veered left, then dropped. She caught herself on a pipe and swung down softly, landing in a service corridor lit only by the red glow of emergency strips.
She paused.
She could have run, maybe even sprinted through to wherever the end point was, but part of her wanted to draw this out. Not for them. For herself. She needed them to see what she could do. Needed them to realize that what they had built to contain her was already obsolete. In the observation room, someone finally broke the silence. Is she breaking protocol? No, said a calm voice. Admiral Sarek, a veteran of 4 galactic wars. She's redefining it. Rika moved again, faster now. Her steps silent, calculated. She passed a climate control unit, then ducked beneath a tangle of cooling cables. The metal vibrated subtly, structural resonance from the core beneath. She could feel the building's heartbeat. One more floor to go. A reinforced barrier blocked her path now, a final test of force over finesse. No hinges, no entry panel, no lock, just a slab of hardened plasteel set into the corridor like a dare. She studied the base. Too clean. Too new. Installed specifically for her. She cracked her neck. You wanted data, she muttered. You're getting data. She stepped back, took 3 deep breaths, then charged. Her shoulder hit the wall first, but the momentum came from her whole body, a kinetic line from heel to crown. The impact sent a shudder down the corridor. The slab didn't just crack. It buckled, the top half denting inward before snapping loose and toppling forward in a screech of tearing alloy. On the other side was sunlight. Not real sun, of course, simulated sky filtered through refracted lenses. But it was outside the chamber. Outside the test. Freedom, by definition. She stepped through the dust cloud and exhaled. A digital chime sounded overhead. Cadet Thorne. Escape timer, 2 minutes, 6 seconds. Behind her, the corridor groaned. The damage she'd done was structural. The whole western quadrant of the testing arena would need repairs. Maybe a redesign. Maybe rethinking what kind of cadets should be tested in what kind of rooms. Rika sat on a nearby bench, legs sprawled casually, face calm. The observers were probably scrambling to understand what had happened. She didn't care. The simulation had rules. She'd made her own. And now she waited, listening for footsteps, hers or theirs, wondering which would arrive first. The corridor outside the test chamber wasn't supposed to be accessible. It wasn't even supposed to exist for the cadets. That was the point. 30 minutes, one simulated challenge, one exit. But now a Deathworlder sat on a bench, with powdered plasteel dust on her shoulders and zero regard for their design limitations. Rika ran a thumb across her lower lip, tasting copper from a split that had reopened during the breach. It stung, then sealed. Her biology moved faster than most protocols could track. She leaned back and looked up, wondering just how long it would take them to respond. 2 minutes to escape, and another 3, maybe, before someone had the courage or authority to approach her. She was wrong. It only took 2. A sleek figure approached from the far end of the corridor, gray uniform, dark gloves, long gait. Not military standard. Intel. Rika clocked the badge before the face, a silver triangle etched with a shifting black symbol that never resolved into one shape. Fleet Intelligence. One of the shadow branches. Cadet Thorne, the woman said. No greeting, no rank offered. Just name, direct and sharp. Rika stood. She was taller, broader, and scarred. The other woman, by contrast, looked like she'd never known abrasion. Her eyes, though steel-rimmed and cool, were weapons of their own. You broke containment, the woman said. Breached structural layers. Ignored procedure. I escaped, Rika replied. That was the goal. That wasn't the path. Then maybe the path was wrong. There was a pause. Just long enough for tension to spark and hang between them. The woman reached into a side pouch and produced a slim data slate. She tapped it once and tossed it gently to Rika, who caught it without looking. Your performance has triggered multiple alerts, the woman said. Not disciplinary. Not yet. But eyes are on you now. Not just fleet command. Rika scanned the slate. Schematics. Her route through the crawlspace. Damage estimates. Heart rate spikes. Bone compression stats. Someone had mapped her entire 2-minute sprint in near real time. Impressed? She asked. Concerned, the woman answered. That landed harder than it should have. Not because it came from a place of fear, but because it came from calculation. Rika didn't scare easy, but being studied, parsed like a tool instead of a person, that grated more than she wanted to admit. The woman continued, We designed that test to stress mental resilience, tactical judgment, and problem-solving under pressure. You bypassed the pressure entirely. I solved the problem.
Fast.
Efficiently. You didn't solve it. You ignored it. That distinction matters. Rika stepped closer, unflinching. You gave me a box and told me to get out.
You didn't say how.
Maybe you wanted someone who could follow the plan. But you're an intel. You know better. Sometimes the plan gets you killed. Another silence, but this one cracked slightly around the edges. You're not wrong, the woman said finally. But being right isn't the same as being trusted. That Rika thought was the real issue.
Trust.
Not skill. Not power. Just the same quiet fear that always surfaced when someone like her refused to fit the pattern. You want me gone? Rika asked, voice level. No, the woman said. I want you somewhere you can do more than break walls. A sharp turn. Rika frowned. So, this was a recruitment test? Not originally. But sometimes the data speaks for itself. The woman gestured toward the far end of the corridor. A door had opened, discreetly, silently, revealing a new hallway. This one was darker, quieter, and led down instead of out. "You walk through that door," the woman said. "You don't go back to cadet life. No more drills. No more grades. You'll be working missions. Black files. No medals. No fanfare." Rika didn't answer right away. Her fists clenched and unclenched by instinct. She looked at the crushed barrier behind her, then at the hall in front of her. Choices always felt like forks in the wild, even if the predators on either side were hidden. "I'm not here to be tamed," she said. The woman's lips twitched. "We're not here to tame. We're here to aim." That finally made Rika pause. She glanced down the new hallway again. There was no clock this time. No announcement. Just open silence and implication. When she looked back, the woman was already gone. For a moment, Rika considered sitting again. Let them sweat. Let them wonder. But that wasn't her way. She moved. Purposeful. Decisive. Into the hall. Into whatever came next. Behind her, the testing chamber's broken wall groaned again. A quiet reminder. The old paths were gone. The only way now was forward. The hallway led Rika into a chamber unlike anything in the academy. Dimly lit, angular, and silent, it pulsed with the kind of tension that didn't come from poor architecture, but careful design. No medals hung on the walls. No banners declared allegiance. The room was all intent, bare, quiet, and watching. Two figures stood at the far end. One she recognized immediately, Admiral Sarek, the war-hardened strategist who'd overseen her original induction. His uniform was sharp, austere. He stood with his hands clasped behind his back, expression unreadable. The other figure wore no rank at all, only a matte black coat that looked like it had never seen a wrinkle. His face was smooth and oddly nondescript, like someone had airbrushed away anything memorable. Sarek spoke first. "Cadet Thorne. Or should I say Operative Thorne now?" She didn't respond. She didn't need to. If she was standing here, that decision had already been made. "We've reviewed your test," he continued. The results were conclusive. The man beside him stepped forward. His eyes were flat, assessing, like they weren't looking at her, but through her. "You broke a structural wall in under 10 seconds, he said. "Caused a cascading failure in 2 adjacent chambers. Your route bypassed 8 of the 9 design challenges and rendered the entire simulation obsolete. You did all of this with no external aid, no violation of any explicitly stated rules, and in a fraction of the time allocated. Which begs the question." He paused, letting silence stretch. "What else can you break?" Rika met his gaze. "Whatever needs breaking." The man didn't smile, but his voice shifted, just slightly, an almost imperceptible note of approval. "That's why you're here." Sarek nodded toward a nearby screen, which flickered to life. Grainy footage played, a convoy ambushed in deep space, then a flash of movement. Too fast, too powerful. Not human. Not Deathworlder. Something worse. "A covert cell," Sarek said. "Genetically spliced, tactically brilliant, and invisible to conventional sensors. We've lost 4 operatives in as many weeks trying to infiltrate their networks. They're not just breaking rules. They're rewriting them." Rika watched the footage. Her brow creased slightly, but her jaw remained still. "You want me to go after them?" The black-clad man cut in. "We want you to do what they can't predict. We want them to fear something they can't model." "Is this a team mission?" she asked. "For now, no," Sarek replied. "You'll start alone. Observation. Integration. Identify pressure points. Then apply them." Rika crossed her arms. "You've got labs. Weapons specialists. Bioengineered commandos.